You can really chase the money so much, you leave behind your health. When life is tough, I think of myself like, what are the aliens or God or the angels? They're watching me, my movie right now, and I'm struggling, and I'm crying, and they got the popcorn like, girl, you can do it. I literally hear that, and I'm like, I'm gonna get through this.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the FYI podcast with your boy Paul Tully. This is FYI, Finding Your Inspiration, where we find our inspiration and we follow it. Today, we got an incredible guest, Miss Brenda'S. Welcome to the show. Brenda.
Trying to be all professional.
Brenda is incredible. As you're going to see, she is a ball of energy. She is a force, and she is a movement in itself. We actually co-founded a theater company together named
Shout out
Urban Theater Movement. Brenda does multiple things. She's an incredible actress. You could see her on shows like Ghettified on Netflix, see her in different films. Brenda's also an entrepreneur. She's going to talk a little bit about very important, healthy, actually all jokes aside, she's going to talk about this water company that she's working with, and she's out there, she's affecting lives, she's changing lives, and she's saving lives, making the world a healthier place one day at a time. Let's get into it. Brenda,
That's right. That's a good intro. I like that.
You look good.
Thank you. I got my little superhero outfit on, you know what I'm saying?
I love it.
I called him earlier, was like, what's the background look like? Because I got to look good, okay?
Well, you did it. You accomplished. You accomplished. Talk to me, man. How is life?
Life? Woo! We all survived the pandemic.
Yes,
like
we did.
Literally, like congratulations, you are the strongest and the fittest.
Yeah.
If you are here, like
it's
literally.
True, like literally. A lot of people didn't
make it, you know.
My mother's husband, his brother got it.
Yeah.
Took it home, gave it to his dad without knowing.
Wow.
This is in the height of it. They both died.
Yeah, a lot of people. My brother passed, not from this, but you know, but it's. Woo. So if anybody's ever, passed in your life, we are with you. And here's what that did for me. I don't want to bring it down. What that did for me is show me that we're only here for a certain amount of time. You got to make it worth your time that you're here. Have fun, affect people, and live it to your fullest, because you don't know when your last moment is.
Right.
And why are you sitting there crying, complaining about life? Like, do something, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here, and thank you for inviting me. So life is good, man. Life is good, not without its challenges or its struggles, but that's what keeps life interesting, right?
Yeah. Talk to me about, just a quick intro of who you are, where you come from. I want to mainly focus on what you're doing today and all the amazing things, but, let the audience know a little bit about yourself, just where you're from, and,
Okay, well, as you can tell, I'm ghetto fabulous. I like to represent. I'm from South Central LA, which now people call it South LA. No, it's South Central LA. That's what we grew up knowing. And, no education, no formal education. Yet I was able to be a theater teacher and able to start a theater company and be a director and a writer and an actor. And now an entrepreneur, And again, I'll go back to like the non-formal training. I feel like when you're meant to succeed in life, or you're meant to be something, like nothing can stop you, right? You know that. Look at you, got a podcast, you got your life and your acting going, right? So like, I'm very proud of where I'm from. I'm very proud to be from South Central LA, from a marginalized, neighborhood and culture and subculture. And I love what I do now, right? I love that I got to break into TV, and we're in it. We're in the struggle, and we're trying to even get bigger things. A lot of people feel like that was great, and it was, but we always aspire to more, because naturally as a human being, you should aspire to more, right? It's not about not being happy or satisfied, but it's like, what's next in my earthly experience? And then, as of late, I've gone into health. I've gone into health and wellness, because I do see a problem in our society with health. And why is diabetes and cancer rates going up, right? Like, why are people heart disease? Why is it more and more every year, more and more every year? Aren't we living in like a really wealthy country, and we have really great healthcare? Like, what is going on? What is going on with our food? What is going on with our water? With our air quality? So many things. And so my mom in 2020 got diagnosed with breast cancer. In March, right when the pandemic happened. Well, no, in March, when the pandemic happened, she found a lump in her breast. It was huge, like a dang golf ball. Like,
oh my
we were, and nobody wanted to go to the hospital at that moment. Nobody wanted to be around, anybody.
Right. This is like in the height. This is the beginning.
The beginning when you're like, whatever, what's going on? And then months pass, and she's still working. My brother's working. As actors, we hardly work. I'm at home like worrying about the world ending, and worrying about my mom, and worrying about my brother. But we really didn't get the diagnosis till October, and she had stage 3 cancer. It was super scary. But let me tell you something about breast cancer. If you're drinking a lot of red dyes, they're very bad for you, okay? A lot of sugars, okay? A lot of people they'll go back and forth about the meat. Just, if you don't have a good diet, it's not surprising. And even if you do have a good diet, some people still get diagnosed, right? So we need to really take care of ourselves, because it's not just the diet, it's our mental and, our spiritual, all of it, right? Because we're not just flesh, we are completely like, we are body, mind, and spirit, right? So she got diagnosed, and it was super scary. It's like one more thing. And one of my friends had this water that I had seen a presentation of this water years ago, about 20 years ago. Matter of fact, I saw one of the first presentations this is a Japanese water system, okay? And I don't know if y'all know this, but the Japanese are some of the healthiest people in the world.
Yeah,
okay?
They said that the highest, it's funny, you said the highest percentage of Japanese population that lives over 98 or something. They have the highest in the world.
Yeah, and also that's tied to blue zones, and blue zones are miraculous water zones. I don't know if you know about that, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But so it's been 20 years in this country, but it's going to be celebrating its 50-year anniversary next year. So it's been around for 50 years. This technology, and all it does is it mimic what nature does. These miracle aquifers all over the world. There's like 7 of them. People live over 100 years old, and so scientists in the 50s went and they were like, why are people living so long? And it turns out that they drink special water that is straight off the glaciers, and also has the electromagnetic energies of the earth. And so long story short is super high energy voltage water, and it has molecular hydrogen. And that is the world's strongest antioxidant. So to give you a picture of why this water is so healthy, 1 glass of water of this is equivalent of like 4 pounds of blueberries and antioxidants.
Wow.
We couldn't eat that many blueberries a day, but you can drink water. And what if switching your water helped your health? Right, so that's why I saw the whole presentation and blew my mind. It's like a magic show. You see the pH, you see the voltage, you see how it emulsifies some oils, you see how it goes through and makes tea without being heated, because the molecules because the hydrogen is so small, it's gas, and it penetrates the tea bag. And so I had seen this 20 years ago. Then my mom got sick. I always wanted the machine. I was like, you know what? She needs the best of the best to help her. Mm-hmm. So I got her the machine. She started doing treatments. She wanted to do conventional. She did chemo, almost killed her. She did another experimental thing, almost killed her. 2022. I had my mother in and out of the hospital. She was like on her deathbed, okay? Yeah. Because that treatment was not good for her. And then, so that was January. That was December, January, and late February is when my brother had cardiac arrest. And then he was in a vegetative state for 6 months. So,
wow.
Yes. So for me, health is really important. Yes, we're all gonna pass. But I want to be vibrant, and I want to, not obsessive, but I want to, I want to have energy. Yeah. I want to feel good. Like, how many of you really get up and you feel good? I feel good every day. I'm not perfect. I like to eat. I just ate right now. I'm gonna be 10 minutes late because we're gonna grab a snack. But how do we balance that? How can we balance that? Right? I get my supplements. I get my water, my meditation. But living it up with that. Feeling really good about. As actors, we can get paid to promote things that we don't believe in, we don't like, or that are toxic, but we like the checks. Yeah. And me, I've always been kind of like, nah, I'm like, my word is my bond. I got to represent what I'm really about. And when this company came about with my mom, I got the machine for her. Didn't know there was a business attached. Didn't know that you can get your money back. You can get these machines for free if you hustle a little bit and you promote it. And so I got my machine for free in 5 months. Nice. Which you can too, all of you can. Just talk to me. But then I was like, it's the middle of the pandemic, ain't nothing going on, everything shut down. So I started posting. And so I got my own virtual franchise. It's a global business. I just post and I talk to people in the Netherlands and Africa and India. And guess what? They all drink water. And they all want to drink the healthiest water. They want to cut down on toxicity. So that the water is just one part of it. The rest is that it makes cleaning supplies. Beauty, as what we poured. Okay, he needs some more. Lauren, can we put some beauty water on him? So you got a suntan.
I'm a little ashy.
You're a little ashy. So look, I got burned twice in 1 week, and I was putting this on, and I didn't peel.
Yeah, no, I'm peeling like crazy. I got sunburn and I was doing a gig out.
Okay. I got my faithful Lauren Water Chola over here spraying him out. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying it. If my arms fall off, then the product is not good.
Okay, so I don't want to talk about this forever, but if you're somebody that cares about the environment, want to reduce plastic and want to reduce toxicity in your home, like we have a cleaning water that kills all 99.9% of bacteria. That is like Clorox, but then your babies can touch it and touch their mouth, and they're not going to be chemically, affected.
Safe for pets?
Safe for pets. Pets can drink it.
Nice.
So a lot of it. So that's why they're popular, and that's why you're seeing it all over TikTok with these ionizers. And ours is the only one that's medical grade.
Nice.
So watch out with the other ones.
No, that's great. How is your mother doing?
Oh, she's doing so good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Good.
You guys, sometimes you just gotta go, her diet's changed, of course her water's changed, her mindset has changed, and then she got a treatment that is low chemical. It's immunotherapy. It's a new treatment for her. Also, I didn't know that all cancers were different. So her cancer is a protein cancer, and most of the treatments don't help. Protein cancers are stubborn.
Yeah.
And guess what? All her life working, having health insurance, and it didn't cover her treatment. Do I have life insurance? I don't know.
Oh, man.
I won't answer that, but do I feel value in it and why we're forced to do it? And at the end of the day, then it's not covered. That made me go like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
So needless to say, take care of yourself. And you don't have to buy expensive anything. We can do it with food and herbs. And, what I sell is something a little bit more luxurious, and it's a little bit, for people who really have the investment, because these machines will last you up to 30 years.
Wow.
But you don't have to be buying expensive stuff to be healthy.
Wow, I love it. It's actually like incredible sitting down with you. We haven't actually hung out in a long time, and we have such a history that goes back, and mainly in the arts, and starting the company, and we've done so many things. I was just working with these new young actors, and I gave them scenes out of Handball. The Christopher and Orlando scene.
It got printed,
I seen that.
I'm waiting on my copy.
I seen that. I supported it. I ordered one. But yeah, I gave them scenes. So I was thinking about you. Brenda directed a production of a play called Handball by Seth V. Rosenfeld. It's a great play.
Wonderful experience.
Yeah,
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Seth. It was an incredible experience. I mean, I have to say, I remember Seth one time said, he goes, a lot of actors, the problem with a lot of actors, and I think this for everybody in life, but he said, you spend all the time getting a blessing and thinking about the next one. So like you get a job, you're doing a play or you're playing a role, and you're already thinking about like the next bigger job. And I remember him telling me that, and he was so right. Like when I think back of the experience of Handball, I was so honored that we got to do that and that he trusted us to do that,
And we got to go to New York together.
Dude, New York.
Central Park, we did the play at Central Park. What?
That was incredible. Marcus Garvey, we were out there for like 3 weeks.
New York Times came and reviewed us.
That's right.
That was an experience.
That's right.
Look at my review. Look up my name in New York Times.
And Brenda directed the heck out of this play. So I was just thinking of you the other day because I gave these kids this scene, and I'm like, having them work on that scene because it fit their types. And I was thinking about you and just how much that I learned working with you, which segues me into this. One thing about you that I was always, I don't know if you know, but I was always mesmerized about you since the day I met you at Cerritos College was your incredible drive and your willingness to get things done. Even when you don't know where you're going, you're gonna get there, right? And I relate to that. And I think that's why our energies, even though we were crazy force of energy,
we almost killed each other many times.
Many times.
Two bulls in a China store.
But I just want you to know that I've always admired you for that. So I've been watching. Absolutely.
And I learned so much from you. Like, for real, like a lot of times I'm like, what would Paul do? Because you're so like instinctual, like you follow your instincts. And you know, when you come from not formally trained, not formally educated, all you got is you and God. All you got is you and your instincts, right? So for all of you out there watching, you feel like, I don't have an education. I didn't learn this. I don't have a mentor. I don't have this. Like, you do have a mentor. It's inside of you.
Yes.
And you got to listen to that. And if you do, you can make the connections, make the relationships, and you can make something of yourself. Let me tell you something. I always say this. I may not have the certifications of man, but I got the certifications from heaven, okay? And that's a bigger reign.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you actually just said everything I was like, that's what I was going to say is how I want you to, so you know, I want you to speak to the young people, anybody, but there's, you know, young people out there that are like, from the same neighborhoods, from the place that are like, man, I don't know how to get to here, but you just did it. It's like, if you feel it, even if you don't know what you want, right? It's just going. It's just trusting your instincts to get there. And I believe, like you just said, God will take care of the rest, you know?
Before we had this matrix, this civilization, like people were out there in the desert, in the forests, you know, they just didn't know where to go. You know, let me tell you what happened. Plants started talking to them, trees, butterflies in the sky, you know, like, and so they were like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do this. How do you think they discovered these healthy healing plants? And now this isn't a factual thing, but as what I believe, because low-key, I have had plants talk to me, okay? All they said was hi, but I was tripping out and I was not on anything, okay? I am sober. We are sober people. But nature will speak to you, and if you feel lost, go into nature. And sometimes your nature is just a front yard, or taking a walk in the park, or just sitting under a tree, or being with your pet is nature, okay? The world can create a space where it disconnects and you can feel less than. I feel like everybody has a purpose, right? But you're not gonna find it while you're comparing yourself to other people, while you're wishing you're this, because your eyes are always out there. But you know, if you need to close your eyes and ask, you know, God, like, you know, what's here for me? How can I serve? What can I give? You know, I'm not a throwaway. You know, we come from, you know, really bad neighborhoods. You know, we come from really bad households and violent, right? Like, you know, you are not a throwaway. And all that you went through is to get you through the rest and to get others through the rest. And this is why I love theater. Because through theater, first of all, if you're feeling lost, taking theater classes is a great way to find yourself. But why I love this business is because it's team building, it's direct sales, and it's network marketing. And it reminds me so much of theater, right? It reminds me so much of like, oh, this person is good at this. Like, you know, I'm gonna have them help with this because they're gonna flourish. Or you get to see everybody's different abilities and you put a team together. And theater and film is a team. Like, everybody has their parts. And if the person who, you know, I forget the name, the gaffer, I guess, who grabs the cables, if they don't do their job, it's gonna be a mess. So don't think that just because you're not the king or queen or the star of the show, you know, that you're not important. You don't do your job, it's going to unravel everything. Be proud of every moment that you have, because that's how we get to the next, right? And so gratitude, like you're talking about, like Seth was talking about, like, we all feel lost, right? You know, we all feel like, you know, what's next? And you just remember all those times in the past when you felt lost, and then right around the corner you had this big blessing. You know, you get this huge commercial booking, or like a job, or like this new venture, or some wonderful person comes into your life as a love life and changes everything. Don't have the arrogance to think that you know everything like God. You just you gotta have enough faith to keep going. Otherwise, like, what are we doing here?
Right.
What are we doing here? Why did we opt to come? You know, everybody, if you think of heaven, you know, I'm spiritual more than religious, but if you think that like there's a heaven, why would we ever come here if not to have fun and to enjoy ourselves and to have these experiences of refining ourselves? It's a game of refining yourself.
Love that.
Right? So why not? You don't have to adopt this. But if you don't have something that makes you feel good, like you're in your own movie, what's the point?
Yeah, no, it's a great philosophy. I don't even feel like you're preaching, or what a philosophy to live by, right? If you're thinking about it, you're telling your own story. You're walking by your own beat. Enjoy. What's the point? You're right. Like, we wake up so much with stress and this, and we're never grateful for the blessings that we have in front of us. I mean, I think we're all guilty of that out there. I am. It's like, you know, having this cup of coffee, sitting here, talking to you, having a podcast, having an audience to listen to things we're saying. I mean, just all these things are just so much to be grateful for. Having health, you know,
So
having
important.
health.
Oh my goodness. I asked my mom one thing. I said, oh, Siri, who's talking? I'm like, the spirits are answering. Somebody said
Siri's
yes.
yelling at
We
us.
gotta guess. We gotta guess.
Yeah.
But when my mom got sick, I asked her, I said, Mom, I said, right now, would you give everything, all the money that you have, everything, you know, the house, everything to be healthy? She said yes.
Oh my God.
So, yes, work, hustle, okay? But this is why I'm like, do not sell your soul. Do not do things that you regret later, because you got to live with you at the end of the day. And some people hustle so much that they hustle themselves into wealth, but their health gets shot. I ain't about that. I see it. I'm in the entrepreneurship world, and I'm like, whoa, like you can really chase the money so much you leave behind your health. Right. And we are primed for prosperity, and that includes health, friendships, love, community, you know, which is why I love network marketing. It's like, I was like, oh my God, this is theater, but for like entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about entrepreneurs. I have never met more badass mother effers in my life. MFers. In my life. I mean, during the pandemic, the entrepreneurs were like, I'll take my jet. You ain't gonna stop me. I'll do this. I don't have to go into your store. And it's like the power of being your own boss and the power to be able to provide for yourself in such a way that you can't be controlled. Because do not forget, poverty is about control. If you do not have the resources to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, you have to depend on others. Now, I'm not shaming poverty. I'm saying you are primed for prosperity. You have to believe that, and it doesn't have to be a millionaire, billionaire. But the basic needs of you and your family can be met. Do not believe the hype. There's enough to go around. And that's what I live by every day, because I refuse. And so far, so good. I just refuse to believe that, because I'm like, no. I think very highly of myself. I really feel royal, you know, ghetto fabulous royal. I get up every day and here's the crazy part. Okay, I am a little crazy. When life is tough, I think of myself like, damn, what are the aliens or God or the angels? They're watching me, my movie right now, and I'm struggling and I'm crying, and they got the popcorn like, girl, you can do it. Girl, you know, when you watch a movie, you're like, it's right around the corner, don't give up, girl. You can do it, oh my God, you know? And I literally hear that, and I'm like, I'm gonna get through this. Because let me tell you something. During my mom's treatment and everything that was happening, guys, my acting came into gear, and it was literally, I was dealing with mortgages, 2 mortgages, lawyers. My brother was going through 2 lawsuits. The doctors wanted to pull his plug. I was feeding my mom on a tube. She couldn't eat. Her cancer got so, she couldn't eat or drink. Okay, I was feeding her through a tube. Then she had liquid coming out of her lungs. So we were at the hospital. I was feeding her and relieving her of her liquid when my brother is in the hospital, okay? Doctors telling me to let him go. One thing that hurt my feelings so much is because my brother's laugh is what I miss the most. And this killed me because, you know, you have siblings, but it's like, she said, you know, you'll never hear his laugh again. He'll never be the same. And I wanted to choke that woman when she said that, because she was just manipulating me because by the way, the longer you have people in the hospital, the more money that they spend.
They're losing.
And also, and I'm gonna tell you right now, when you have people in the hospital and they die in the hospital makes money. It's a fact. It's a fact, okay? And I just tell the truth, okay? Don't kill the messenger, but I tell the truth. And so I had to get through everything moment to moment, and my acting came in. I literally had to stop and just be like, just get through this phone call, get through this feeding, get through this meeting, get through the funeral, get through the nursing home, get through the lawyers, get through the conversation, just get through moment to moment. Because if I was like, I'm never gonna get through. When is the other side of this?
Right.
I mean, I couldn't breathe. I mean, my mom and I were just like zombies. It was just too much, and you can get through it. And I'm gonna share that acting tip. Bring yourself to the now. The past is gone. You don't know what the future holds. You're going to start thinking that the future is going to be horrible because you can't get through here. But you just go, I'm right here. I'm healthy. I got my body. I got my mother. I got my house. I got food. I got water. Got my pets. I'm going to get through this moment. And you get through it, and that's a triumph. And I'm going to get through this moment. You get through it, and that's a triumph. And you have to celebrate those little triumphs for yourself. And it will end. And that's how I got through it. My acting kicked in, and because I remember acting, they would say, "Don't get to the end of the scene."
Right.
Stay with
Stay
your
on the
partner.
page.
Stay
Stay here.
right here in this. You don't know what the end is, Brenda.
Right. Don't play your end.
Don't play the end. Right. And we always play the end as horrible.
Wow.
Moment to moment. Breathe. Moment to moment.
I love that. Wow. Those are gems right there, man. Those are gems.
We survived a lot.
Where are we going today? Where are we going from here?
That's a good question. I have that conversation with God all the time. Like, when I had my dreams before, and things happen and they kind of recalibrate you, and for good reason. And I'm having a conversation with God every day. Like, what is next? I know prosperity. I know prosperity. I know I'm going to be taken care of because I always have been and always will be. That's another language that we all need to learn. Like, I always am taken care of and always will be taken care of, right? But like, what is next? What I want to get into? Because for me, my brother's death and everything that happened made everything so simple. I'm like, what do I want to get into before I go? Honestly, what do I want to get into? What experience do I want to get into before I go? And we just got back from Morocco.
Yes.
I had never been. Like, this is very Moroccan, and like, whoa. And honestly, it's like this business allowed me to do that. Also, this business is a home-based business. I get to spend time with my mom, and I don't have to work, and I'm there with her, and I take her to all her doctor's appointments, right? So I'm a caretaker now, and that's a big responsibility, and I'm sole provider now, so that's a huge responsibility, right? So I got to do everything. But again, our life in theater trained us for that, right? Our life growing up trained us for that. So I don't have the answer for that. I do know there's prosperity, there's wealth, there's love, there's community, and giving back. I don't know how exactly I'm going to give back, but I know that when I see it, I'll feel it. And that's how I live my life now. When I'm talking to someone or have a conversation or somebody says something, and my whole body fills with like this energy of like spiritual, like woo, I'm like, that's it. And it doesn't happen often because I'm detoxing from everything that's happened, and I know I sound great right now, but I'm still working through my stuff. So I don't know, and so that's a really great place to be in discovery, and with the acting too, we have the strike, but like sometimes not knowing is really exciting.
Yeah.
And not scary when you're like, I got through this, I got through that, God got me through this, God got me through that. Like, I don't know, man. I just want to flow and go, cause damn, life can go like this. I just want to have a good time. I really just want to have a good time, give back, and have money.
That's right.
Money.
That's right. Well, before I close out my episodes, I like to ask one question. So the question, you probably don't know it, but you're gonna have the right answer. How do you avoid hitting the snooze button in life?
Oh man, and this is what I learned with entrepreneurship. What's your why? What's your why? What's my why? Right? Right now, my why is my mom. Right now, my why is my health. The little things that get me excited. Like I'm back to clean eating, and like that gets me excited, right? So, I don't want to get back to heaven or get back to God or my source, and then be like, what happened? I don't want, that's my why. I don't want to be, I feel like a very big responsibility that I feel very soldier-like. I feel like I'm just like this soldier on the ground level. I have a job to do and I cannot fail, and I'm constantly looking. Is this the building? Is this the people I'm supposed to meet? Like, communicate, those movies where they're like, go left, go right. I'm like, where am I going? I'm the sharpshooter, I'm like, I'm here to affect,
Love it.
So I don't know. I'm just listening.
I love it. I love this new Brenda, man. This is great. This is really great, man. Really inspiring, man. Listen, you're here for more than a reason. I've only known you 12 years, so there was a Brenda Banda, a whole life of Brenda Banda before that. And my only regret is not being able to know you for all those years too. But for the 12 I've known you, you've impacted my life. We impacted others' lives, good or bad, right?
Hey, man.
But I had a guy on the show. Jason Niebles did the show, and because he directed his first film, and he had said during the interview, he had talked about a time he came and auditioned for us, for UTM. Now, it was so moving for me because I'm thinking, wait, what audition, But to him, he remembered every detail. And he said, over my 10 years of being an actor, that was the most important audition of my life. More important than any TV audition. I said, why? And he said it was for the Miguel Pinheiro.
Short Eyes.
It wasn't for Short Eyes. It was for something we did before Short Eyes. And so he had said that coming in for us was so important that he still holds it today as his most important audition, because the bar that we were setting in theater was so high to him. Wow. And he said till this day, we didn't cast him. And it's the one audition that it hurts the most. More than any TV show he's auditioned for or anything. I said, really? He said, bro, it was the one I wanted so bad. What he was saying was UTM meant that much. Wow. He's seen our energy when he met us and the screaming and the boom, and we were like just rehearsing and yelling at each other, throwing. It was like, that's what we brought to a lot of these young actors, and I'm proud of that. And I've made mistakes along the way, and we've made mistakes together, but we've done incredible things, like you said, handball. And to the thanks of everybody, it wasn't us, but we were part of that. We were very important parts of that engine. So
I just want to say this, y'all, for people to understand why. Where we come from, there was never theater for us. When I started acting, it was the roles that I had 2 roles that I could choose from, and I am not lying. I've been acting for like 24 years. I could be a Latina maid or I could be an Italian maid. Those were the 2 roles. So the moment that I saw your presentation that you did, and I was like, we could do something here for our community. And when I say our community, I wouldn't talk about brown, I wouldn't talk about black, even though I grew up in South Central and I think I'm very black. I'm talking about people who are in the marginalized communities who do not have access to theater and to stories. And, Geergis came out with his plays, right? And we ran with it, and we wanted to produce quality. We got bigger than ourselves really quick.
Yeah, quick.
We did our first show, and like the caliber just went, and that's how you just meant for it, and that's so beautiful to hear. Thank you for telling me that, because we did have high standards, and we continue to, because we could do what anybody else can do, and maybe even better. So don't give up. So when you think of yourself for your why, it's because some kid is gonna be like, you did that for me, and that's so good.
Do you remember that night we were in the drive-thru before we end this?
We had 2. I know.
I think of it all the time.
We had 2.
We did have 2
occasions like that. But tell them the driveway story.
I'm dropping Brenda off. It's like 2 a.m.
Of course, we're gonna stop. We're stopping to eat.
Yeah. I think we were leaving. This one, we're starting our theater company, and
like Jack in the Box.
She lives in South Central, and so I'm taking her home. We go to Jack in the Box. We go through. Was it Taco Bell or Jack in the Box?
No, I was Jack. It was
Jack in the Box.
I remember.
Go through the drive-through, and this homeless guy is, when you get to the drive-through, he's standing over there, and he comes up to the window, and I don't remember if he did ask for $1. I think we gave him $1.
Yes, he did ask for $1, and you gave him $1.
I gave him $1, and then he said to us, he stopped. He
looked at us,
took us in, and he said, correct me if I don't know what y'all are up to or where you're coming from, but what I could tell you right now is something big's gonna happen for you guys. And I feel there's an energy. You guys are doing something, and it's gonna happen. And we were just starting the theater company. We knew nobody in Hollywood. We didn't have any connect. We were at Cerritos College, man.
Shout out.
We knew there was no even a friend that was doing things in Hollywood.
Just us.
And within a year, we're doing professional theater with people we had watched growing up doing films, and today, look at us today. Look, I'm not a millionaire, I'm not even close, and I'm not big and famous, but what I can say, I live my dream every single day, and it's not because I'm skillful. God bless me, but I do the footwork. And my father always told me, if you do the footwork, God will take care of the rest. God helps those that do the footwork. We've done the footwork, and look where we're at today. You're independent. You're not punching a time clock. You're doing things. You're spending time with your mom. You're mentioning God. I just want to throw out, you've always been spiritual, but I get teary-eyed every time I see a post when you mention God. I'm like, wow, man, that's like a different Brenda. It's your whole energy.
The entrepreneurship. Let me tell you how, and a lot of people think money is evil, and I know we're running out of time, but money is not evil. Every entrepreneur that you know, ask them about God. They cannot do what they do without God. You don't have a boss. You don't have to, and in the beginning, you don't even have employees. It's just you and God, whatever God is to you. And you really quickly learn to listen, to take action, and that you're here for more. And it takes a scrappy, like, fighter person to be like, I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna make this money. Because what they don't tell you is that deep down inside, they know they deserve it. They know they're worthy of it. And in order to get there, they have to listen to their inner voice, and that is God speaking to us constantly. Now, if you believe that God wants you to be poor, I respect that. I don't think so. And so I believe God wants us to be prosperous and healthy. Health is part of being prosperous. And if you're healthy, then you can listen. If you're not healthy, you can't listen to God. It's all about frequency too. Literally, our DNA is an antenna. Like, literally, like, you cannot, it's like we're a radio signal, but if your signal's all jacked up because you're not in a healthy situation, you can't even listen or pay attention to the signals that God is sending you. God wants you to win. He put you here to win. And now more than ever, do you think God only wants a handful of people to be prosperous?
Right.
No. He wants you to bring your gifts forward so that we all can prosper. Hey!
Brenda, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Man.
Thank all of you.
Guys, I'm going to close this up. This one was a powerful one. Brenda Banda. So what I got out of today's episode, guys, is body, mind, spirit for sure, right? You visualize something, you go do it. You do the work, you will never be let down. If you do the work, you're going to get to where you're going, even if it's one step at a time, right? We got health, we got the spirit, and we got determination. Brenda's living examples of all of those things, and she's succeeding. I'm proud of her. I'm honored that she came on the show. Listen, I hope you got something out of this episode. I know I definitely did. Go out there, get it. This is where we find our inspiration and we follow it. FYI Podcast with Paul Tully. Tune in for the next one.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.